Welcome back. Now, South Africans are currently experiencing stage 2 load shedding, which the power utility has blamed on generating capacity. During these blackouts, there's often a power surge. This could result in some home appliances short-circuiting. The question is whether you're able to claim from your insurance for these items. To discuss this, we're joined in studio by the South African Insurance Association's Davy base. Davy, thanks so much for your time today. Is this covered in our insurance policies?
Yeah, Seki, yes, thank you for the opportunity to represent the insurance industry. I know this is a very emotive and a very topical issue, but I can give the public out there the assurance that there are some policies that do cover you for power surges. But I must also warn that not all policies do. So as far as the consumer is concerned, you normally have a policy to protect yourself for your contents,
Yes.
which is your householder's policy, and then you have a policy which will protect your home, the building, the homeowner's policy. So both these policies could have a power surge extension, but it is limited to a certain amount.
To a certain amount. All right, but does it cost you extra if one has to take out additional cover for this sort of thing, given that Eskom's told us we're going to have to live with this for some time?
No, at this stage, if the cover is automatically included, it doesn't cost you extra. But as I say before, some companies specifically cover power surges. Some exclude it, and some are silent on it. So our advice to the public out there is to talk to the insurance companies or the intermediaries, the brokers, to find out exactly what you're covered for. Because this is important. Because as we know, load shedding is here for quite a while to stay. And it brings around a changed environment, which brings new risks to the table.
Has the insurance industry seen more claims related to this sort of thing since we started seeing load shedding?
Yes, indeed. I can't give you the exact figures, but there has been an increasing trend of appliances that are damaged because of load shedding. Not load shedding per se, but because of power surges. That is when the power is switched on again, there could be a surge.
That could be a surge. All right. The other issue, of course, is safety. A lot of people have alarm systems in their homes, and when this happens, that can be disrupted as well. What should homeowners be thinking about when it comes to their alarm systems during load shedding?
Yes, that's indeed a very, very pertinent and topical question, and I know there is concern out there, but we are advising the insureds to make sure that the alarm installations are serviced, inspected and tested at regular intervals. And we're also asking the insurers out there, the public, to make sure that the batteries are charged of these systems. Because what is happening is that when you underwrite a policy, most insurers have different underwriting philosophy and underwriting rules. But if you have a burglar alarm and it's a condition of the policy, the condition of the policy states that the alarm must be in a working order at all times. What we are saying to the public out there is that just make sure that you have taken precautions to make sure that these alarms are in working conditions, I said before, and that the batteries are fully charged. As long as you take reasonable precautions and you have a claim during the period and there may be a burglary and the alarm may not be working, we believe that the insurers will look at it sympathetically.
Okay, so you need to be able to say, look, I've followed everything that could be reasonably expected of me as a homeowner, then your claim may not be repudiated. Correct. In that case then.
Exactly.
There's also fire risk, something else we haven't thought about, because during load shedding, some of us use candles.
Yes.
I think let's talk a little bit about the concerns around the fire hazard as well.
Well, fire per se is a main peril under both these policies. And as long as there's no negligence, well, even negligence, but if there is a fire and the fire is caused accidentally, there is no problem with that, it will be covered.
Okay.
I think another issue is that a question that was raised, a lot of our people out there are now installing generators.
Yes.
And then they use fuel, But all I'll be saying there is make sure that you do this in terms of the fire rules and protections in terms of the local authority.
Okay.
As long as you do that, and there may be an explosion, there may be a fire because of that, but your fire section will cover you.
Do you need to let your insurer know that you now have this particular
Indeed, yes.
generator in your home, so that should anything happen, that's covered?
That the onus is on the insured to keep the company informed of any changes. And this is a material fact, a material change, and therefore they must advise the insurer that they will be installing a generator, and it will be noted on the policy, and it will be covered.
And then just in general, Davi, and very quickly, are you finding that people are insuring their household contents more and more these days?
Well, I think it's a difficult one to answer. That we believe that the growth in new business has been slowed down over the past few years, which is partly related to the slow economy that we're facing. But I believe that any prudent person should, in fact, have a policy to cover their contents. And as far as a building is concerned, most people owning a building or a house, a building, what we call a private dwelling, will be insured because it's a condition of the bond.
It's a condition of the bond.
So there's no problem there. It's just that we must emphasize again that it is definitely in the best interest of the consumer out there to protect themselves as far as their valuables are concerned, and that is your contents.
We'll leave it there. Thanks so much for your time. That was the South African Insurance Association's Davi Base. Well, Egypt's tourism ministry is boasting about increasing tourism numbers. Income from this sector is crucial to the economy of the Arab world's most populous country. But in recent years, there's been a steady decline in visitors due to political instability.
After years of political turmoil, it seems tourism revenue is finally on the up. The sector is Egypt's main source of foreign currency and vital to its economy. The country received 9.9 million visitors in 2014, up from 9.5 million a year earlier.
In 2010, we had 14.7 million tourists. This dropped in 2011 to 9.8, then increased once again to 11.5 to 12, then went down to 9.5, then somewhat improved in 2014 by around 4% or a little less.
The 2011 uprising that deposed President Hosni Mubarak and the years of political strife that followed are blamed for keeping tourists away. The recent climb in income is credited not only to a greater number of tourists visiting, but also because tourists are spending more.
Average spending has increased. It had dropped to $62 for one tourist per night from $85 per night.
Although tourists, especially from other Arab states, have been slowly reappearing in hotels in Egypt, a deterioration of the security situation in the Middle East poses a further threat to the sector. The rapid advance of Islamic State, a group seen as more extreme than Al-Qaeda, has worried governments across the region, including Egypt's.
Our daily question and answer feature is up next. Stay with us.